Hi everyone, Steve Scott here, and let's take another look at the Judo Advantage, my book from YMAA Publishing. And on page 185, chapter 15, I discuss at some length using movement in defense. And on the front page of that, page 184, you can see Ken Brink doing a nice hip block and cutaway, which is what I'm going to talk about specifically in this video. But this whole chapter discusses the efficient use of movement in defensive actions on your part to keep from being thrown primarily. And then in this chapter, I go into length at the discussion of what is called kobo-ichi. Kobo-ichi is a term I first heard from or read in Don Draeger's works. And it means, kobo-ichi means attack and defense are one and the same thing. And under the caption of the photo here, the caption reads, attack and defense are one and the same depending on the situation. And that's a definition of kobo-ichi. And I think that is a good definition of kobo-ichi because we're going to specifically now get into the next few pages. Actually, starting on page 187, I talk about a hip block and cutaway. And it's a concept of taisabaki, circular body movement, circular hip turning in a defensive motion, okay, in defensive manner. And now, again, I discuss other methods of prevention or defense against being thrown, that type of thing, with gripping, other types of movement, even turning out, which I don't recommend highly. The concept of a hip block and cutaway. Now, we're going to show some video here coming up on how to do this. I think this is the most efficient method of defense there is used in judo or even sambo, in any type of fighting sport where you're throwing people. It is basically you're turning the body, you're getting great hip rotation, a lot of torque to actually stop your opponent's, the attacker's momentum in his attack on you. So if my attacker or my opponent attacks me with a throw and I can hip block and cut away, tear away from it, I just basically negate, I just stop his throw in its tracks. That is, to me, the most efficient form of defense. From that, I can continue the concept of kobo-ichi and then launch my own defense or my own attack, my counterattack from there. It's a very strong position for me to be in, not just defensively, but also I can turn that immediately into an offensive movement there. And I talk about that in the book here. And you'll be seeing that when we show this video here. And if you've probably seen this, if you watch my other videos on YouTube or Facebook or whatever platform it might be, you'll probably see these videos or this upcoming stuff I'm going to be showing here. But keep this in mind from this discussion I'm having with you now about how important the hip block and cutaway is. Other methods are fine. Other methods work. Other methods actually may be better for different weight classes. Hop around, evading a throw, that type of thing. If it works for you, do it. The idea is don't let your opponent throw you. And the secondary idea is after surviving the attack, you've got to be able to come back with your own counterattack. And again, think of the concept of kobo-ichi whenever you defend a throw or an attack. You want to not just stop or negate the throw, shut it down in its process, and then give yourself the opportunity and be in position to counterattack immediately. So, in the still shot here, you can see the defender on the right using a really good hip block and cutaway. She's turned her body totally to the right to stop the attack and using her left hip to drive into her opponent's entire body as the opponent drives forward with what looks like an uchimata. And the defender's left hand is jamming hard against the attacker's body. You can see her left hand there jamming at the armpit there. And this is a real action shot. It was taken back in the 1980s at the Senior Nationals in the women's category. And it shows really, really good defense. And it totally nullified the attacker's uchimata. And in fact, the defender on the right went on to win the match. In this photo from the back side, you can get a good view of how the defender on the right is turning his body. This is a good taisabaki action, body management of moving the hips directly as a point of contact to stop the attacker who is on the left, to stop his forward throw. And look at the defender, again, using his left hand to jam underneath the armpit area at the back area there to help add more impetus, to more momentum to stop the forward action of the attacker's throw. And you can see also how the defender is turning to the right. Look at his left foot. He's pivoting on that, and as he's moving away, this helps the taisabaki, or body movement action with the hips, turning the hips very strongly to stop the forward throw. Here's one last still shot showing the hip cutting action. This is an important part of the movement of the. You're not just blocking with the hips, but you're also cutting away. And you can see the defender on the left as his taisabaki, his hip rotation, turns away from the forward action of the attacker's forward throw. And you can see how he's using his left hip to block, and he's also using his left hand to jam. But look at his right hand. He's using that to swing backward, aiming with his elbow pretty much, to help get the body momentum going away from it, to block and cut away. This cutaway action stops it gives another layer of defense to stopping the attacker's forward attack besides just the hip block. When he attacks, cut hard, block away. Okay? Could be out of any grip. He might have some grip here. I've got this grip. If he attacks me, cut. Stop the momentum. To me, that's one of the basic defenses we use in Judo and Sambo in any type of a grappling sport, especially with gis. Okay? He might have me really tied up and attack me. If I try to hop around, I'm just locked. He'll throw me. So I don't like to hop around as much. Maybe that's my second line of defense, but certainly my first line of defense is when he blocks, he attacks, I cut and block away. If I can tear away even better, now I can come back and attack him. Or if I keep hold and he attacks, boom, cut, step in front, drop under, drop Suinagi, some type of a counter move. So that's the hip block and tear away, hip block and cut away. I think one of the basic defenses in Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, and Sambo. So posture is essential. If you've got good defense, you got good posture, okay? So it all ties in together. So when we're gripping, we're doing a real active gripping drill. Now, we're gonna do that, and my job is I'm gonna attack Derek, and I'm gonna give you, say, about a minute. Derek's job for the whole minute is to stop all my attacks. It isn't with pushing and being bent over and being defensive, it's hip blocking and cutting away, what the Japanese call taisabaki, body management, body movement, okay? You've got to have good body movement. It all leads with your hips. My friend Harry Parker once said, always lead with your hips. Well, this is a perfect example. So we're gripping, and then the drill looks like this. We're fighting, we're gripping and everything. I got my grip, and he knows he's going to, because he wants to block. That's the job. I'm going to come in, I'm going to go, bam, cuts me away. Come back in. I'm going to hit with a left side attack. Bam, and I may hit the right side, left side. I'm going to hit 2 or 3 right in a row. He doesn't know what I'm going to hit with, okay? It's his job to block everything. I want to do all forward throws for this drill because you could do, as we can take this drill, we can do cross-body osotos, leg work, whatever. But right now, I want to keep us focused, very direct, on stopping forward throws. Okay? So my job as the attacker would be, I'm going to attack for about a minute. I'll time it. Okay? And his job is to block for a minute. He doesn't know if it's could be right side attack, could be left side attack. And when he blocks them, new guys, this is for you. When I attack, let's say a right-sided throw, he's going to bop with his left hip. So my right, it's the opposite hip, okay? So when I come in like this, bam, he blocks it away. See how he jams me away, pops me. He wants to completely stop the momentum of my forward. I want to slide my hip in and drill, okay? Well, he wants to stop that. If I come in left side attack, bam, he cuts the other side, shoves away. He wants to dominate. Remember, you can turn a good defense into an offense real quick. The Japanese have a concept called koboichi. Offense, defense, when you need it. That's what this drill does. Okay? It's a really good drill, and that's why we're using it now. Okay? It's supposed to teach you a lot about posture and throwing. We're working on the hip block drill. Hip and cutaway drill. It's good for defense. And one guy will attack, the other guy blocks. And we're working on our hip cuts the whole time. Just back and forth, work on defense. A lot of times I'll do 10, you'll do 10. In this case, Kelvin and Derek are drilling. Derek's attacking and Kelvin's blocking. We want to make sure we do a hip cut, we block, maybe even tear away. This is where we really practice on our defense and good tai sabaki, or body management. You can see these very good hip blocks and attacks. Right side, left side, you never know what an opponent's going to throw at you. We often do them in sets of 10 each, varying degrees of resistance. Sometimes we may do them in time, like 30 seconds attack, and then one guy blocks the entire 30 seconds, the other guy attacks the entire 30 seconds. Right now we're just kind of working on the skills of defense. Chapter 15, it is the concepts of using movement in defense, and specifically here I have two things: koboichi, keep that in mind all through this, and a very, very specific way of defending yourself, a hip block and cutaway. I think it's the best defense, in my opinion, over the years I've been coaching and doing judo, that we have in the sport of judo or even Sambo. So anyway, koboichi, hip block, cutaway, movement in defense, a vital part of judo.